Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
Hi, I'm Jack Berry, and I'm here with the members of the Jawors family, 5 brothers who are members of the PGA of America. The PGA is the largest group of working sports people in the business, 28,000 PGA members. We have 5 brothers here in the Detroit area. They were at all the municipal courses all around. And we're fortunate today that we have Stan with us. Stan is a young man in his 90s, and Cass is a young man in his 80s, and I'm in there too. So we're going to talk about some golf today and talk about all 5 of the brothers. Stan of the players. Frank was the oldest, then Stan, then Chet, then Cass, and then John. I think I got that all right in there. And Stan is a fine player, and especially so when he got into playing on the senior side in the Michigan section, and was won a number of tournaments. Cass was a good player. Cass got on the tour and had made a nice friendship with Gary Player. Frank was the golf coach at the Wayne State University, and I was the president of the Michigan PGA at a time. Chet was the head of the City Pros, the 5 18-hole golf courses in Detroit. When I first knew him, he was at Rackham, and Chet knew everybody, and everybody knew Chet. He was just great, and wound up with the range over in Gratiot in Roseville. He was a great putter. He didn't play much, but he could putt. And John was at a number of courses around in the area, at Plymouth, at Hilltop, and he always had the fastest greens in the business. If you wanted to play slippery greens, you went where John Jawor was. Now, Cass was the player of the brothers. Now, how did that happen, Cass?
Well, I practiced a lot. We got help from some of the best people in the world, indirectly from Byron Nelson. And when I played on the tour, Ken Ventura and Gardner Dickinson helped me a lot. So that's how I became really good. My brothers started me in golf, but then they helped me out then.
That's pretty tough to get on tour, isn't it?
Well, back then it wasn't that hard, but now it is. We got to win a tournament, or you got to play on a mini tour, and then try to qualify so you can play on a regular tour. You can go and qualify every Monday. You qualify 2 qualifiers, one Monday, then Friday. And if you qualify, then you can play in the tournament. It takes a lot of money to go out there now.
Well, it wasn't cheap then, was it?
No, it was easy getting on then, because when I went down for 4 or 5 tournaments one year on a Greyhound bus, and I had to stay overnight to one spot because we had to make a connection, and I was going down to Louisiana or someplace, and I stayed with somebody that I never knew, and we paid, I think, $2 each for the room, and then we got to the tournament sites when I met Al Koshas, and I traveled right with him for 4 or 5 tournaments. We split the costs, and naturally we went broke. But they only paid like 8-10 spots, and the last spot only paid probably about $25. But I didn't play worth the darn, but at my home course I played very good. And then I got home, and that was it.
Well, Cass, how about you you were like the Jim Kelly of golf. Kelly had, 4 straight Super Bowls that he didn't win with Buffalo, and you had 4 Michigan Opens that were pretty close together that you finished second. Who were the guys who beat you in those?
Well, Chuck Knowles beat me the first time at Bedford Valley. I lost in the playoff. I hit him by 5 shots, and he tied me and beat me the next year. Wally Berkemo beat me, knocked in about a 50-footer in the last hole to win. And then a couple of years after that, Ron Fox won. But before that, I was runner-up at Silver Lake in Linden, so I was runner-up at least 4 times.
Well, that was lose to Berkamo was a PGA champion.
Right.
Very strong.
Yeah. And then then I played at a few tour events. Even after that, I played in Shenandoah at the Michigan Golf Classic. I finished 5th there, lost by 2 shots. Played good, but I didn't win.
Well, that was the tournament that they didn't have no money.
No.
Mother Hubbard Open.
But the PGA did pay us off, though.
They did.
Yeah. I remember the third tournament I played with, and we were all tied for the lead after 2 rounds with Gary Player and Dow Fitzgerald. So I was nervous on the first hole, but after that, I was all right. And on the second hole, I hit my ball in the right rough and Player in the left rough. And Dow Fitzgerald was the leading money winner that year and the year before. We got all these people following us. He swung, and he took a divot about 2 feet and hit it about 70 feet. I said, I can play with these guys. Then on the next hole, I was up first on a par 5, and I hit a drive, and then the player jumped out of his chute, and I got him by 50 yards. He said, Cass, there's no way I could ever outdrive you.
Now you became pretty good friends with.
Yeah, I became real good friends with Gary Player because I even got him golf clubs from Ben Hogan, which was another long story.
Go ahead.
Well, someone knew Hogan from South Africa, and they said they got a nice, fine player from Africa that we'd like to bring him over here, and maybe you could help him out. Yes, asked Ben Hogan to help, because Gary Player worked in the diamond mines with his father, and he had no money. I mean, he just was a poor family. And then they brought him over here, and Hogan gave him a wardrobe and gave him a place to stay for 2 years, and he owned the Hogan company, so he played the Hogan clubs. Then after 2 years, he changed clubs, and Hogan already knew it. Then the player called up Hogan, said, Mr. Hogan, I got a problem with my golf swing. And he said, what clubs are you playing? He knew already. He said, first flight, he took that phone, slammed it in his ear, and never talked to Gary Player again. He says, because he double-crossed him. But you can't blame him. Then he always wanted me to get him clubs from Hogan, because he knew I could get him. So I brought him 4 drivers to Washington, and Player, Nicklaus, and Palmer on the tee. So Player first took and swung and hit about 4 or 5 shots low to the right. Nicklaus low to the right. Palmer licked it low to the right. They couldn't hit that driver because Hogan's shafts were so stiff. He had to have it all new shafts put in.
I played behind Hogan in 2 Motor City Opens, but we played at Meadowbrook, and we get on the 18th hole, and once you know it, he knocks it in the hole for a 2. The first day. The next day, we get up on the 18th hole again. Here he goes. He knocks it in the hole again.
Eagle.
Yeah, 2 days in a row.
And at the time, after 2 rounds, I had him by 2 strokes. But you know where I finished? Down the line after 36 for 72.
Well, we had 11 Motor City Opens, and Hogan won. Middlecoff won a couple.
Middlecoff, I was thinking Mangrum were tied. They played off, and
right.
they were co-champs.
Right, because that's the longest playoff in PGA Tour history. They went 11 holes, and it got dark. And they said, well, we're not going to come back, not going to come back tomorrow. And so they split.
Yeah, I played at Meadowbrook, too, with Jack Nicklaus. We were both amateurs. We played there.
Well, that was a time of great golf in the city of Detroit. All the professionals. I mean, look, they're all practically every one of those guys is in the Hall of Fame that played in the Motor City Opens at Meadowbrook and Plum Hollow and Red Run and Western, and that was unfortunately the Buick Open, as great as it was, that killed the Motor City Opens, because Motor City Open purse was $25,000, and in 1958 Buick put up $52,000 at Grand Blanc, and there was no way that the backers of the Motor City Opens could match that. Well, we've been talking today with the Jawors. We got Stan and Cass, the two brothers. There were 5 of them were PGA members, and a lot of good memories about all those times. And they're still working at the game and still helping people out. And Stan is helping with the little kids there at Bushwood, and Cass is over in the northeast side or north. He's over in Lake Orion and bathing in the sunlight, I guess.